Welcome to another extra special episode of the Let Me Be Frank podcast with myself, Simon Houston, Frank McAvennie.
Yep.
Happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday, I know, I can't believe it.
A year ago this week we started doing this. It's just gone like that.
It's just flown into it. It's been some, we'd love to look back on it because there's been some great guests.
Oh, we will do. We'll put together a special compilation.
Very wet afternoon with Sir Rod Stewart.
Some of the names.
It was good.
It'd been absolutely fantastic. And it's all down to you and your contacts, but your little black book that...
I'm not even halfway through them yet.
Your world famous little black book. So anyway, that's a year on.
Yeah, well done.
And so, as a wee way of marking our birthday, we are going to give you the chance to win a present from Frank. Mm-hmm. So, as a little giveaway to one very lucky subscriber, you'll probably recognise this top because it is a replica of...
The centenary top.
The centenary season 1988 when Frank, I was going to say single-handedly won the double.
Yeah, you're right.
One or two helped you.
Yeah,
you pretty much single-handedly won the Centenary Cup final.
Can't say that. It was a good team game.
It was a team game, but you popped up with 2 goals in the last 15 minutes, and then you went and spoke to Maggie Thatcher. But enough of that.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. So, in order to win a signed, so Frank will sign this for you personally,
and we'll get it framed.
So whoever wins this, in fact, you know what, might even beat them. Maybe even get them in the studio and you can present it to them.
Yes, no problem.
Right, so in order to win this top and meet Frank and get it signed and get it framed, all you need to do is leave a comment on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, underneath this, and hit subscribe. Subscribe, it's free, it's dead easy, it doesn't cost you a penny, you're not committed to anything. It's just a way of letting us know that you love us. Yeah. So hit subscribe and then in the comment, just put happy birthday. Yeah. Simple as that. And then we will pick a lucky winner, and preferably you're within touching distance of the studio. But if you're not, don't worry about it. One way or another, we'll get them here. We'll get you in, and you can meet Frank and get it presented to you, and we'll get it framed and signed. So there we are.
In the coming weeks, we'll do the West Ham and St Mirren. We'll get that as well. That'll come to you.
If you're a West Ham fan as well, look out for that too. Remember St Mirren one?
St Mirren as well, yeah. And Johnsonborough.
All the teams you played for, that is South China United, whatever they're called. One of them.
They still going?
I think I finished them. You put them under. So right, listen, the big news obviously for Celtic this week is the return of KT.
Brilliant.
Wow. I mean, talk about, how much would you have to spend to get somebody of his quality?
Yeah, Celtic wouldn't have had the money, that's for sure.
Aye.
He's just shown how much a Celtic guy is because he was magnificent. I mean, I just don't understand English football now, but when he's one, for me, I think he's one of the best left backs in the world.
Aye.
But they don't seem... Arteta doesn't seem to want a left back. He wants a left winger, a wing back.
No, he played left wing for Arsenal.
It's not KT. He is good there, but he can do that, but he can play centre half as well.
Yeah, no.
But I just think it's a magnificent signing. I was so delighted that he put his pen to paper a few months ago, and now it's all all the photos are out there, and it's great to have him back.
And there's a few things to talk about with Kieran. Obviously, people immediately talk about his fitness record and all that, but it's not as bad as folk would suggest, and we'll come on to that in a wee second. But he could comfortably have left Arsenal and gone to a mid-table English Premier League team.
He could have gone to one of the best teams. Honestly, the Spanish, Italian, he could have went anywhere.
He's coming back to Scotland.
There's no way that he's not had any offers from in England.
Yeah.
I think he just wants to come home.
He wants to come home.
He's went, done it, he's proved it. When he's played, he's been magnificent.
Aye. But he's kissing goodbye to millions of pounds if you think about it over 5 years.
Yeah, no.
The contract that he's signing in Scotland compared. But so there you are.
But he's a homegrown. He walks about in an Asda bag or a Tesco bag. There is other stores out there, but you know what I mean.
I know. And the thing is that
it's one of them. The boys just love him.
The Arsenal
Everyone
fans
loves him.
absolutely loved him as well, and that was what they always said. They said, "Look at KT, middle of winter, sub-zero temperatures. He's got short sleeve top, in his Tesco bag in the training field." And hard as nails. So 28, just turned 28. Celtic are getting him at his prime.
Great time.
5 years ahead of him.
I'm going to be honest with you, no disrespect to wee Greg Taylor, but this guy's proven in Europe. And if Brendan wants to kick on in Europe, I found that, I'm not going to have a go at Greg because he's been magnificent to Celtic. I think he's been a wonderful talent. His defence has been a wee bit... for me. But going forward and doing everything that Brendan wants him to do, was magnificent by him, by Greg, but we're getting a world class. I mean, there can't be anyone out there that's got doubts about Greg Kieran Tierney.
No.
It's embarrassing if they have.
And what's interesting too, Rangers fans immediately jumped on it, social media yesterday, and poking fun at his injury record and so on.
Oh, it's not that bad, is it?
It's not actually that bad. So Kieran Tierney, so him and Greg Taylor, KT's 28, Taylor's 27. They both made their senior club debuts at the age of 17. Kieran Tierney's played 390 matches if you include his 50 internationals. Mm-hmm. And Greg Taylor's played 361 if you include his 14 international caps. So KT has played more games. People will point to the fact that, probably played the majority of them when he was younger. Mm-hmm. But that's not strictly the case. If you look, there was a season at Arsenal where I don't think he got a look in. Mm-hmm. Whether it was injured or whether it was Arteta just didn't want to.
Just didn't get him.
Yeah, exactly. But when he Sociedad playing 20 times, so I mean, the experience is unquestionable.
I was hoping Greg would stay. There was talk that he was going to stay and sign a contract. Sign a contract because I think him and Tierney could play. I think Tierney could. Many times we've been looking for a left-sided centre half. He's your man. He'll step in there, and Greg could play in there. And if it goes out, then Kieran's the man to step out there. So I think it could work. The two of them could play 30 games a season. Yeah. Now, it wouldn't be it's not a bad thing, but whether Celtic want to give him, Greg, the money that he feels that he deserves, I don't know.
Well, they might have.
But I was hoping it would sign.
Yeah,
but he's not. But it looks like he's not going to.
Here's a question: Can you think of any famous Celtic players that played, then went away and then came back again? But Joan aside, so I'll rhyme off a handful of yourself, Charlie Nicholas, Jota, Sean Maloney.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them off the top of my head. I get, give us other names when you're commenting. Can you think of any that were better second time round? Were you better second time round?
Well, I was hindered because when I came in, it was the manager was all right, Brady, but then we got somebody that nearly ruined Celtic, Lou McCarry, so that was my downfall because we had him at West Ham and he just didn't like me.
What's it? But
he doesn't like anyone that got a laugh in the dressing room.
Aye, fair enough. But what do you think? I don't want to generalise, but for any player, being a hero first time round and then coming back, it's always going to be a bit tricky, isn't it, to emulate?
I think so, but when I came back, I think I had 14 games to the end of the season, and Liam says, "See what you can do for 16 games or something." And I scored 11, 12 goals in 16 games, so I don't know, right? As I say, it was after that that I was getting dropped, and Charlie Nick was there as well, and we didn't like two people with personalities, and it went downhill. I don't know why I didn't play two of us because they've got him out of right. Yeah, a lot of trouble. But he never done it, and it's only he can say why. But Kieran Tierney, for me, he's what I think. You're talking about me, you're talking about Charlie Nick, but Kieran's, I think, in his position, he's one of the best. There's no
globally.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see anyone who's better at left back than Kieran Tierney. I mean, I really don't. And he'll get that energy to go forward, and maybe at this time, maybe he'll hold back and somebody tackles it.
But possibly they're going to use him sparingly.
Experience.
They will use him sparingly. There's no two ways about it. So they're going to have a backup left back.
Yeah.
Whether that backup left, it's highly unlikely it's going to be Greg Taylor, right? Because he won't see himself as a backup. He'll want to go somewhere and be the number one.
I know what you're saying, but when it's somebody like Kieran Tierney, you go, "Oh, hold on a minute." If I was coming out of Celtic and it was I'm challenging Henrik, I go, "Well, yeah, I'll get games. He'll not play other games." And then you've got to challenge yourself and want to prove that you're going to be back up to Kieran Tierney. So you're going to be back up to Henrik, and it's just the way it works. Football's like that. I was back up when I went to West Ham, and once I got in, I stayed in.
Who were you back up to initially?
Paul Goddard. He was a good striker, great striker.
Right, okay.
Went to Newcastle for a lot of money.
So West Ham bought you as a project, almost?
Bought me as a project. No, I was midfield for years. And then I went down there and I played in behind the strikers. And it never worked, to be fair. And Paul Goddard got injured in the first game.
Aye.
and I went up for the last 20 minutes, and then the Tuesday night at home I scored 2 goals, and me and Tony went off in that wonderful run.
We need to get him back on.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like get him in the studio.
With him
That'd be
weekend.
great. So, other things to talk about as well. Well, actually, I was just going to mention, we won't see this until January probably, but the prospect of Kieran Tierney with Jota in front of him,
Yeah.
it's going to be something else.
Yeah.
It dies in Maida as well.
Wow.
That's going to be...
You know, I think, I don't know if I would, Jota would be magnificent with TT. I just, you know, his runs and his position of, you know, precision of passing and what he's got in his locker, it would be. I don't know about Maida. If he flies by Maida, he might shit himself.
Well, maybe KT at his fitness might be the one person that can get past Maida.
Yeah.
So lots of that. Then Celtic have obviously kind of hit the ground running as far as the transfer window goes, getting Kieran Tierney in nice and early. The boy that you're going to tell me a wee bit about is Callum Osmand, who we reckon hasn't signed yet, but if you believe reports, he's done his medical and he's going to be here from Fulham.
I've got a call from one of our old guests, Tony Gale, who's he played for Fulham for years.
Yeah.
And he's still very well in down there. They love him down there. So he phoned me and said to me, "You've got a right good boy." You know, he says, so yeah, it's listen, it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are. See if he gets in and scores goals. Yeah. He'll take that number 9 spot.
Who does the number 9 position belong to at Celtic at the moment, would you say?
I would say Maida if Jota and that's when they're fit. Maida's at the moment.
Adam Maida probably believes it's his. You know?
I know he does. I know it. But listen, he didn't get a pre-season. He didn't get a pre-season last year, apparently, either. So when he's coming out, he's now doing a pre-season. He's in with the boys, and now this is his time.
Yeah.
I think he's dividing the fans.
Yeah.
Stop saying, you know, for the amount of games I've played, I've scored great goals. Stop doing that. Just go about your business and stop bragging about it and go and do it and score 40.
Well, young Callum Osmond, he's never played a senior game yet, but he's 73 games for Fulham's under-18s and under-21s, and in those 73 games he scored 43 times. That's not a bad return.
It's not bad, is it?
That's an all right return.
1 and 2. It's not bad.
Aye, well, slightly more than 1 and 2.
Listen, I know, but it doesn't matter who you play. If you're getting goals like that and
if
you're
over
racking
the
up goals like
that,
it's a result. And hopefully, with the kind of coach Brendan Rodgers is, he'll bring him through. And I think, you know, that's a bargain, I think. I don't know much about the fee. Because if you bring him in... I
don't think there's much change in hands at all. Fulham are not happy.
You get 400,000, a boy like that for 400,000, and give him the coaching that Brendan will give him, and his coaching staff, obviously, you know, John Kennedy and all them, then that could be another 20 million.
Well, that's the Celtic business model, isn't it?
For a goal scorer, I mean, if he hits the ground and starts scoring goals, then, you know, there's not many goal scorers going about now. It's a dying art.
Yeah. Well, it won't be that long before they have to start thinking about coming back for pre-season training, and then they've got Champions League playoff qualifiers ahead of them, so we shall see what unfolds. Are you expecting
more signings?
Oh, there has to be more.
Has to be.
There's got to be more.
Listen, maybe it's just me. You can let us know what you think. I think we need a number 6. I just think since Scott Brown, we've not had... Callum can sit in there, but he's not... Let's be honest, Callum's a great player, but he could take off his supper. you know. But you need somebody in there that's going to stop. But Scott Brown, then before that with Neil Lennon, my team with Big Roy Aitken. I mean, you know, it doesn't... And Granty. They boys can stop the game and experience stop the game.
I mean,
sometimes I think we get caught out and we all go forward. We need somebody sitting there.
I think there's more to Callum than people might give him credit for as far as that's concerned.
He's a wonderful player, but I'm talking about he's not Scott Brown for tackling.
But you've just talked about a team full of enforcers or hard men, whatever you want to call it.
It's not a team, but you need one.
Roy Aitken, Peter Grant in the same team alone. I know he's on his own to that, you know, because you're not asking Hatate to.
Scott Brown was in there on his own, wasn't he? He done it. I mean, didn't.
Well, but the point I was going on to make was Scott Brown had Callum next to him a lot of the time.
Of course, but he's there. Let Callum go and play.
Yeah, completely.
And when it needed to, Scott stopped the game. You know, he just... Because how many times have been caught out up front and then they're running over the top and getting right pushed back on it with defence. But if Scott, you know, get a free kick, take a booking, take one for the team.
Right, so if we
that kind of thing I'm talking about.
Right, Brendan, Number 6. Before he,
I think he knows.
Before you get a knock on the door from Mr. McAvennie. Right, before we
Only
finish
my
up,
opinion.
before we finish up our little extra episode, hope you're enjoying these. By the way, we've obviously got our main weekly episode. There's another great episode coming out tomorrow with another Celtic legend. But we like to put these wee extra bits together
Friday
for you.
morning, is it not coming out?
Well, aye.
The clips will be coming out tomorrow.
Aye. Okay, I might put you in charge of that. You're going to be in charge of social media and clips.
You'll see them in about a year then.
Right, when people will be watching this Thursday morning and the main episode will be Friday. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We've not been back in the studio since the famous Johnson Borough winning the Scottish Cup.
There you go. Cheers.
Frank,
Cheers to
your old
Johnson
team
Borough.
did it. Your old team, I don't know what that was.
I'm going to be honest with you, we went to the
semi-final.
Semi-final, and I didn't think it would make it. They get beat.
Aye. Well, they lost that first leg at home at Keene Park.
Yep.
They were going back down to Largs, wasn't it? And it was on
I'm going to be honest, I thought it was over.
Aye.
So I never bothered with it. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing, wow.
Yeah, so
then I couldn't get to the final. I would love to go to the final.
I was down south. I was down south visiting family but I watched it. I watched it on the stream on BBC Alba. So it's always quite handy having a match on BBC Alba.
It's good to learn how to speak Scottish, innit?
Aye, so so the commentator speaks Gaelic and then the summariser speaks in English.
Oh, does he?
It makes absolutely. I'm sorry. I've got a couple of Gaelic speaking friends, and I really apologise for this, but I can't. I just don't get my head around that. Anyway, going down a rabbit hole. Well done to Johnson Borough. You played for them.
Yes.
I played for their youth team.
Did you?
I don't talk about it very much.
No.
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Aye, there you go.
Aye.
I
come from Johnson. Johnson's my hometown. So.
I know you worked here and all that, but I didn't know you had played. So
I'm very, very proud of the Borough. Very proud of them.
Could have been a contender.
Could have been a contender, aye, but other things got in the way, Frank,
Oh, I'm the same.
Aye, like a total and utter lack of ability. That was a big hurdle that I couldn't get over. But and obviously a guest of the podcast, Kyle Lafferty, scored the winning penalty.
Yes, brilliant. I'm hoping Kyle and Scott, the owner, is going to bring a trophy in and for one of shows.
Aye, Scott.
That'd be great.
There you go. A direct
Kyle,
appeal.
bring it in. You told us you were doing it, so bring it in.
Bring the trophy in and we'll have it on this very table and we'll open a glass of fizz. How about that?
Oh, yeah. I'll leave the car.
I'll leave the car
at home, yeah.
And but brilliant. It's a great achievement. They haven't won anything for 20 odd years, and they hadn't won the Scottish Cup since goodness knows how long. So brilliant. Well done, the Borough. That's great news.
Well done.
So there we go. So that's a nice wee note to finish our extra episode on, and we'll everyone will see us again in 24 hours with another
Don't forget,
Celtic and Scotland.
press the button, subscribe.
Hit subscribe. And again, as a wee reminder, if you want to win a chance to win the centenary top signed by Frank and get to meet Frank and present it to you and we'll get it framed and all that stuff, hit subscribe and leave a comment. Happy birthday. And fingers crossed you were the winner. So there we go. Well, brilliant. We're back next week and we'll hopefully some more transfer news.
See you then.
See you soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank. Take care.